let's face it, the running back position this year is an absolute disaster. You've got guys that are injured left and right, probably on your roster. Who do you pick up to take their place? You got buys, you have all sorts of chaos going on in backfield. You don't know who to start. You're going to need some help. I'm here to tell you my top 5 waiver wire picks at the running back position for week 8. So let's get into it. Counting down, starting at number 5. And it's, really tough for me to recommend a Jet, but here you go, because the running back position, it's just so thin on waivers. I know you've heard that over and over. It really does keep getting thinner. You'd think that next man up there would be somebody, worth looking at. It's tough because everybody's in a committee these days. We're going to have to dig on some bad teams. So JaMycal Perine of the Jets, he's maybe taking over the lead back here. Frank Gore still got most of the carries, but Perine was in on 73% of the snaps at running back. I hate to say that Adam Gase might be doing a smart thing, but at least they recognize that it might make sense to give the rookie a look as opposed to the 37-year-old future Hall of Famer who's not going to help them win now as much. At least see what you got. All right. So Perine did get some more action, did score a touchdown early, which was surprising because it's the Jets. Will he be super involved going forward? We can't count on it, but you know what? At least there's promise. At least there's hope, right? Give us that. He's not going to be a workhorse guy. He's not going to be somebody that you really want to count on, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And you know what? Even though the matchup this week is pretty much as bad as you can get for a running back as far as the Chiefs, if he's going to be the guy catching the passes out of the backfield, he could get some garbage time work there, right? Catch a few balls, in the fourth quarter and at least give you a few points in PPR. So if nothing else, Perine is somebody who at least is trending upward in terms of usage. So I got him 5th. Number 4, somebody who kind of reemerged on the scene, that's Damien Harris of the Patriots. I know buying into the Patriots offense is almost as tough these days. They look absolutely terrible. And you know what? It's not going to get much better because next week they play against another tough defense, but it's not going to be really up to Harris how the team performs. It's really as far as Cam Newton, what's going to happen there. He's not getting benched as far as we know. So if he did, honestly, and I've been getting a lot of questions about this on social media and Reddit, what would that mean? I actually think Cam Newton getting benched would be good for Harris because they would have to focus on the running backs in the running game. And you know what? Newton would be there to steal carries, to steal goal line work and touchdowns. So that actually would be a blessing. But as of right now, that's not happening. Definitely not this week, not going forward. But keep an eye on Harris because when he has had the chance, right, the problem is that he hasn't had really a ton of carries since that one debut game where he went for 100 yards. But since then, he's been very limited just because of the way the offense is working. He's a talented guy. He seems to be the lead back. So at the very least, you can keep him stashed and see what happens. I wouldn't start him in week 8 necessarily, but it's definitely a guy worth having because any lead running back is worth having at this point. You never know what's going to happen in New England. And so let's go to number 3. Now, it's a little early in the week, so it's hard to say what's going on with Chris Carson, but he did leave early with an injury, and we saw Carlos Hyde take over as the main running back and looks actually pretty good. I mean, as far as Carlos Hyde goes, he had 74 yards rushing just in regulation, and he's never going to be super involved as a pass catcher. But you know what? The Seahawks are pretty thin in depth after that. They have guys like Travis Homer and DJ Dallas who just are there, and they're not going to really ever cut into his carries. So Hyde has a chance to get a lot of work if Carson doesn't go. But again, no official diagnosis yet. So kind of keep an eye on the situation. I know you don't love rolling with Carlos Hyde necessarily, but hey, he could be the starting running back on a really good offense, even though the 49ers pretty much are the worst matchup possible for a running back. Statistically, that's a fact. He still could get touchdowns. He's still going to get touches. And you can't even say that about a lot of these other options. So I do have to have Carlos Hyde as number 3. Number 2, again, hate to recommend a guy on a bad team, but Wayne Gallman, if Devonta Freeman doesn't go, he's going to be the main back for the Giants. That doesn't say a whole lot, but you know what? Gallman does also get work as a pass catcher. He's going to get the majority of the touches. Probably Deion Lewis is basically non-existent, so don't worry about that. So if you're looking for a decent floor in PPR, I think you can go Gallman even if you don't want to. So he's got a little extra time to rest. It's possible Freeman comes back. I might change this ranking again as the week goes on. Probably might drop him down below Hyde. But again, it's too early to say what's going to happen. Just keep these guys in mind for right now. I know it's pretty thin when these are all maybes, and we're almost up to number 1. And so the top pick as of right now is JaMycal Hasty, which is a surprising name here. Undrafted free agent, guy who was maybe 5th in line for carries in San Francisco's backfield. Well, guess what? Raheem Mostert on IR, right? Jeff Wilson, monster game. So, of course, he gets injured. Looks like he's not going to play this week at the very least. We don't know officially, but it looked like a serious injury. He got carted off. So no Wilson. We haven't seen McKinnon really. I guess now they're saying that he was being arrested because of how much work. I don't believe Kyle Shanahan. Just don't. Which also means it's hard to trust what's going to happen here. But if you look at the trend, Hasty's gotten 9 carries each of the last 2 games. He's been more efficient with them, and he's probably going to take on more of a lead back role. McKinnon will be what he is. He's going to be in on third downs and pass catching situations. He's never going to be a guy who gets the bulk of the work on the ground. And you know what? As long as every other running back is hurt in San Francisco, Hasty could be the top guy. I know we hate buying into that backfield or that offense in general, but you know what? They are a good offensive team. Regardless of who goes out there, Shanahan might be frustrating to deal with in fantasy, but he knows how to get the most of his players. So I think you can make Hasty your top ad, see what happens. I can't guarantee how many touches he'll get or how productive he'll be, but the ceiling is there. And you know what? At this point, compared to all those other guys I talked about, I would rather take a chance on him than the others. All right, hopefully that helps you. If you can think of anybody I didn't mention, or if you have a question about any other waivers, hit us up, guys. Follow us at Endgame Fantasy. Don't forget to hit subscribe and that little notification bell so you know about the latest episodes every time they drop. Because remember, we're here to help you win. All right, thanks for watching.